Pretty good, Leon. How's it going? Yeah. Can I get a, what can the Bible teach us book? What happened to what does the Bible really teach?
No, things change.
They change a lot in Jehovah's organization, don't they? Oh, well, I've always loved your hair, too. And yours.
I've got the same coat, identical to that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost. It's just, yeah, Velcro. Yeah.
Yeah, don't touch.
Nice.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'd probably just go to the website to read this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, why have a hard copy when you can just go to the website?
You know what I find with a hard copy over a tablet or a phone?
Yeah.
Hard copy is better.
You still prefer the hard copy?
I do, but I don't use it as much as I should.
Yeah, right. I remember the last couple of meetings I went to, there was maybe 2 out of 50 brothers and sisters that were still using hard copies. Everybody else had it on the tablet or the cell phone or whatnot.
I don't think you retain the same information.
No. There's no app for a hard copy.
Even those notebooks that look like a book, they're a little bit easier on the eyes, but it's not the same.
Yeah, right.
Your memory's better too in a book.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to place a book and you're reading it, you remember where it is in the book, but on the app, it's like, where was that?
Yeah. I remember when I was studying pretty seriously, if there's something I really wanted to retain, I would transcribe it. I would read it, I would transcribe it, I would have it there for later, or I would write it out. You know how we're always taking notes frantically at the conventions? I mean, I took more notes in 3 days of conventions than I did in like 2 or 3 weeks in high school because there's such pressure to be constantly taking notes.
But look at this, you won't believe this. I have this.
Well, I'm still here.
I know. I just haven't seen you.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
I do this when there's a talk, and when there's a talk, you can hear everything.
Oh, that's what just records that.
I just go like this.
What's the name of it?
It's jw.org. I'm listening.
He's joking.
It's not a jw.org app.
No.
jw.org would never, ever have an app that does that. No.
It doesn't make sense. It's everywhere.
Because if you took a Bible student from 1918 and put them in a room with one of Jehovah's Witnesses from 2018,
be the opposite.
Could you imagine how that conversation would go?
Yeah, it would be kind of...
That Bible student would be like, I don't really think we're in the same religion. I'll see you guys later, right?
Well, we went to the Bethel.
Because there's the blood, there's the shunning, there's the disfellowshipping, there's the vaccines, there's the faithful and discreet slave,
they had crosses,
superior authorities, the generation. I mean, that Jehovah's Witness from 2018 would be taking hours to explain to that Bible student that, for instance, no, the faithful and discreet slave is now only these 7 men in New York, not all of the anointed. I mean, I wonder what that Bible student would say from 2018 to that one.
But you know what?
Or from 1918.
One thing you have to remember, and I mean, this doesn't make any sense right now, is our relationship...
Would you say, what doesn't make any sense right now?
Probably. Our relationship...
What doesn't make any sense to me?
Well, probably. It seems like you're a little bit more critical than you used to be.
I've always been this critical.
Oh, I never know.
Unfortunately, I didn't have all the facts available like you do now. I've noticed in learning about people who leave this organization... People who leave this organization are showing a kind of bravery, a kind of courage, a kind of honesty, and their search for truth I never showed as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I believe in being a sincere student of the Bible, yeah. But let me finish about people who are leaving this organization.
Well, we know people.
When I was in this organization, the constant demonization of people who left this organization as being mentally diseased or deceitful or demonically possessed. Well, I know you never felt that, but unfortunately that's what's constantly written about people who leave this organization in the literature. Yeah.
I've never
read
that.
You're talking to me now. Do I seem mentally diseased to you? Am I not in a position to be worthy of life the way you and your wife are worthy of life if the end of this system were to come today?
Okay, I'll ask you. Let me ask you a question.
No. You're not answering my question, though. That's the thing.
Well, Stuart, I don't know the answers to that.
But you know that what you believe teaches that unless a person calls on the name of Jehovah, they won't be saved.
I don't know. You did call on the name of Jehovah one time.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying if the end were to come today, according to what you believe, all of these people, not just me, but all of these people walking by wouldn't survive. But that's
I don't think anybody knows that.
But that is what you believe, standing here next to
believe.
this cart.
I don't believe it. Okay, what you're saying that I believe that everybody here will be destroyed?
If Armageddon came.
I don't know what's going to happen with that.
You don't know what's happening. Well, if you're not as sure as
I'm not
like if you're this unsure, why are you standing next to this cart, like inviting people to learn about what the Bible really teaches when you can't even defend your beliefs?
No, that's not defending my beliefs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're not defending
that's
your
things
beliefs.
nobody knows, Stuart. No matter what anybody
Well,
calls you.
but apparently the governing body do know, because they're the ones that constantly say, unless a person calls on the name of Jehovah, unless the person dedicates their life to Jehovah and his organization, they will face destruction in Armageddon.
It gives you a sense of security. I mean,
a lot of things give you a sense of security.
Okay, let me ask you.
You know the first thing that gives you a sense of security?
How come you never let me talk, though? I don't get it.
Fine, go ahead.
Okay, so do you believe the Bible's God's word? Still, do you?
I believe the Bible has a lot of encouraging advice, practical advice.
Okay, but do you believe it's God's word?
What do you mean God's word? I don't understand.
Do you think that what's in there is relayed to us on how He feels about things? You do. Okay. Do you think God has a name? Or is it just God?
Gino, why are you trying to pull
No, I'm not. I'm
same
just asking
stuff?
You a question.
Don't you remember I regular pioneered?
Okay.
Don't you remember I had more Bible students than all the other brothers in that congregation combined?
Stuart,
I understand what you're doing.
Does God have a name? I'm just wondering.
That's amazing.
No, I'm just asking you a question. Does He?
Does God have a name?
Or is it just God? Or does it matter which God? I don't know.
Does it matter? Well, obviously it matters to you. It matters to you so much.
Doesn't matter what. No, I'm asking
you. It matters
you.
to you
See,
so much.
You never give me an
that
answer.
God has a name. Does God have a name?
No, it doesn't. I'm just asking you what you believe, not me.
Does God have a name?
I
yes.
Don't know. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, you don't know. Okay. I just.
No. I'm saying, what answer do you want?
Whatever you.
Because I've noticed this. Like, you're not having a conversation with me. You're asking me questions.
Yeah.
That you've had given to you by Watchtower.
But I believe that. But I'm asking you now, from your study of the Bible, does God have a name?
You believe that Jehovah's Witnesses are worthy of life, where everyone else in the world
I don't believe that.
will be destroyed.
I don't believe that.
Well, your leaders believe that. Your leaders make jokes about how bodies are going to look like charred hot dogs at Armageddon.
Sure.
You know who Tony Morris is?
You know what?
Do you know who Garrett Loesch is?
Let me ask you one more time. Does God have a name?
Do you know who those men are?
See, you don't answer my questions. You want me to answer?
I just answered your question. Do I believe that God has a name?
And
fine. Yes.
Okay. Is there a hellfire? For people that are bad, they're going to go.
Gino, there's I don't know. There's a bunch of different ways to interpret those scriptures.
No, but what do you think? It's not what it's interpreted. What do you think? There's a hellfire that bad people are going to go there?
No.
Okay, good. Do you think there's a heaven that good people are going to go to?
I don't know.
Do you think Jesus was sent from heaven, God's Son?
I don't know.
Well, just wondering, just asking questions.
But I'll tell you, the people
what do you have to offer me?
Hold on. The people that do have answers to those questions, I see what they become. I see what people who take that really... No, let me finish. I answered your questions.
I'm not finished.
I answered your questions.
I'm asking one more question. So what do you have to offer me?
I don't have to offer you anything.
But then why would I consider?
I don't have to, because you are in a burning building, and you don't see it. You just finished admitting to me you don't know what Garrett Loesch talks about. You don't know what Tony Morris was talking about in the talks that they're giving, the videos that are being leaked right now. You know they're giving direction to Bethelites on how they're to sleep. They're not supposed to sleep with pillows too tightly squeezed between their legs. Do you think I'm kidding? Gary Bro, who was on the November broadcasting, was talking about the 2-witness rule. He's up there telling Bethelites, Don't sleep with pillows. Don't tell me to calm down.
No, I don't want to make a scene.
Well, I do want to make a scene.
Well,
I do want to make a scene. Yeah,
Why?
because you're representing a disgusting religion, you know.
Stuart, how are you going to draw me to that? To what
I'm
you
not
believe?
trying to draw you to anything.
But you're
I'm
not,
trying to inform you
but
that you're out here representing a religion that protects pedophiles.
Remember how
You're out here representing a religion whose policies is making it possible for people to kill themselves in numbers no one but Watchtower
Did you know-
knows and
can
isn't
I-
talking
can I
about.
tell you something about
And
that?
you're also representing a
I
religion
researched
out
that.
here that is abusing
Stuart,
children,
I researched-
covering it up, mishandling it.
Stuart,
But you haven't
I
researched it.
researched the part on suicides. And
How have you researched it?
If you go under Wikipedia and type in that Jehovah's Witnesses suicide, you'll see that we're no different in the numbers than regular people that are around. The same
Regular
percentage.
people that are around.
The regular that aren't Jehovah's Witnesses.
How is
Research.
Wikipedia in a position to keep
I
track
don't know,
of that?
but it's in there.
I want to see it from Watchtower, you know. I want to see some disclosure from Watchtower
What?
about the number of people their policies are getting to kill themselves or flat out killing with the
You just
blood group
research-
numbers.
Like, Stuart, I went through what you went through in a different level.
Well, that's
but
the thing.
Now there's new stuff I haven't heard of.
didn't. Yeah, that's all
But-
I'm trying to say.
But I'm saying this, Stuart.
That's what I have to offer.
I studied it for 6 months.
Years
I
ago.
watched videos.
Years ago. Okay,
But it
and the
was the
body,
same
the
stuff.
body of evidence wasn't what it is today.
It's similar what you're saying, though. I
The
hear it.
Facebook groups, the YouTube channels, the websites,
Well,
they're
that's
exploding.
no question that social
Okay.
media's there. I had to
You-
watch videos. I had to see. I listened to cassettes.
Yeah.
And I had to read. Like I had.
Why do you think the number of Jehovah's Witnesses are dropping in this country?
Nice.
Hey, Norbert.
Hi, how are you doing?
The number of brothers and sisters is dropping in this country last couple of years. There are fewer witnesses in Canada than there used to be.
I asked Stuart if he still believes
No.
there's a God. and if
See, I've noticed this about
God
cult
has a
members.
name.
Like, I'm trying to ask Norbert a question. You don't want him
Well,
to
no.
answer that question, so you're trying to take control of the conversation.
No, because Stuart, you're always.
I
talking.
was asking you. I know, Gino, I gave you a chance to ask me a bunch of questions. I tried to answer. I answered honestly. You're not answering any of my questions. Why do you think it isn't? It is. Why do you think brothers and sisters are leaving the organization, which they're doing in droves? They're weak. They're faithless. They've been deceived by demons. They're faithless. They're not humble. They don't love God.
You know what?
Why did you leave?
Why are they leaving? Because I was lied to.
Where were you?
Yeah, I was lied to. Yeah,
Sure,
absolutely
I've heard all this
manipulated,
stuff before.
deceived, lied to.
I thought you were smarter than that.
It's interesting. I'm even smarter than you know, Norbert. Which is why I'm out here. Yeah. But why, in your experience, why do they leave?
Why did they leave?
Because they're stupid?
No.
Because they're not as smart as you thought? That's what you just said.
No.
Well, then why?
Because they've made a choice.
They made a choice. Yeah. Like Eve made the choice to eat the fruit. The lie she was told had nothing to do with it. Yeah. They make the choice. I've heard that before. It's interesting.
So
Yeah.
you question that account?
What account?
The one about Eve and the serpent.
No, I'm just saying that you just said that the reason I've left was because I made a choice. It's kind of like saying Eve ate the fruit. It was her choice, you know,
Exactly.
the lie and the deception
Yeah.
that she was told had nothing to do with it.
But Stuart, the fact that if you
Like
left,
my love for
no
God
one's
can't be
trying to-
prompting me to
no
want to
one's
leave.
trying to get you
My
back.
love for my fellow man can't be prompting me to want to leave.
Okay, so
my
what are
courage
you,
and
what
my
are you
humility.
offering? What are you offering?
I don't have to
In a
offer you
positive way?
anything.
No,
I don't
in a
have to.
positive way.
I don't have to offer you anything, Norbert. I have to offer you the reality check that you guys are in a burning building as cult members, and the people who are leaving this organization know as much about it as you, because they've stood where you're standing, like ex-Bethelites, elders, circuit overseers are leaving, and they're also in a position to know more because of how honest they're being about what they're learning from other ex-witnesses. See?
To what end?
To being honest about your search for truth. See, you guys talk about having the truth and being in the truth. That's part of like your cult language. But there's no such thing. Like there's just degrees of how honest you are
But I
about
did
your
ask you.
about your search for
But
it.
I did ask you
and
that.
you guys can't say that you're honest
You
about your
said you
search
still
for truth
believe there's a God.
because all you do is
And
look
you-
to Watchtower
and you
for
still
your
don't.
understanding of Watchtower, which makes you no offense, seriously, no offense, which makes you ignorant. You know, and that's fine. I mean, it's a free country, and you can say and do whatever you want, but don't start talking about people who leave this organization as being stupid.
No, I didn't.
You said you thought I was smarter than that. Don't start talking about people who leave this organization as being mentally diseased and deceitful and faithless, okay? Because we're pretty incredible, actually. We are pretty
Well, I
incredible.
didn't feel that way.
Well, we are, but you wouldn't know anything about it because you're not allowed. You're not allowed to investigate. To do that is to be disloyal. It's amazing how Watchtower keeps redefining what it is
No,
for you
this
to be
is-
loyal.
This is what it's about. If
Interesting. See,
no,
here's
okay.
the cult member telling me what it's about because he doesn't want to listen. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, go shop. Yeah, go buy some of Satan's wicked merchandise so you can be well dressed for your work that's nothing to do with the world. Yeah.
But Stuart, here's a question. Like,
Yeah.
why do you always talk to us? And I told you I've heard all that stuff before.
Well, you just admitted that you haven't heard the
Well,
latest.
there's the social
You should hear
media
yourself.
stuff.
It's amazing.
No, the social media stuff.
I mean, it
that's
takes
out
you
there, I
guys
haven't.
literally like 60 seconds to contradict yourselves.
No, but the same stuff you're
It's amazing.
saying, I've heard.
I know how good it feels
I
to
have.
stand out here as illuminators in Satan's dark world and having the truth and being in the truth. But when you listen to yourselves and when you get presented with your own history, the contradictions just come like tumbling in.
But are you happy
And
with
it's
this?
like
And
the
you should-
truth.
But why are you always
facts.
talking to us and trying to discourage
The
us?
facts keep proving that you're just ridiculous.
We can't listen to ourselves because you don't stop talking.
Well, you don't have to
Because
worry about
I've
me.
asked you,
Yes.
I've asked you, what do you have that's positive to offer us?
Do you remember what I said?
You have absolutely nothing. You said, I don't have
That's
to
not
tell
what I
you.
said. No, that's not what I said.
What did you say?
See, that's the thing, and you don't listen. See, if the conversation doesn't flatter you,
No, what did you
and if you can't control it, then you get uppity, you get confrontational, or you call Caesar to come and ask somebody like me to go away, or you feel persecuted or ridiculed, and you guys are going to go home now and figure out how to spin this to talk about how, oh, Stuart showed up and he was persecuting us, that poor man, he's so lost. Let's pray for Stuart. No,
That is
you know,
what I
you know who needs praying for is you guys.
But-
Seriously.
Okay, so you believe in prayer still?
Well, I'm just speaking your language to try to
No.
reach you,
Well-
to like try to I don't know.
Stuart, everything you learned is you basically said you still think God has a name.
I said I don't know. Yes, no, I don't know. I'm trying to give you an answer that you want because
But you said the
you're not.
Bible's God's
See,
word.
you don't talk to people. You recruit people who aren't in the cult, or you just flatter people who are in the cult, while you underline your watchtower or conduct the watchtower or make it to all your meetings and make it to all your service groups and make lunch for the circuit overseer and avoid apostate websites
what's wrong
and
with all that
get
stuff?
your language right and don't listen to the leaders when videos are leaked about videos that are out now about what governing body helpers are telling Bethelites to do and how they're supposed to sleep. Or elders
How does
videos
that
where
affect our
elders videos where they're meeting to talk about regular pioneers and whether or not they should still be allowed to stay on the list because they're missing their hours. Sarah, Elsa, and Chris. Have you seen that video yet? Yeah. So like everything that you think makes you so official while you peacock around the congregation as an elder, that's all being leaked. The Shepherd the Flock of God book, the custody packet, the communication guidelines for the circuit overseer, all of that is leaked online. People are never going to hate Jehovah's Witnesses because you're true Christians. We're too busy just being shocked at everything that we're learning about you. Okay? So this isn't persecution. This is a reality check. Okay? And
Stuart, I've heard it all before.
but you haven't heard that before.
90% of it I've
Tell
heard.
me about the video.
Social
Tell me about the video that's been leaked about
there's
Bethelites.
Obviously, there's new apostate stuff that's come out. But when I was in it, I studied it for 6 months,
Yeah.
Stuart, and it's a trap.
Your underwear is not too tight, is it, Gino?
Why?
You don't squeeze your pillow between your legs too tightly when you sleep, do you, Gino?
I use it on my head. Why?
That's what Gary Bro is talking to Bethelites about. He's asking brothers and reminding brothers who might have a wet dream, maybe it was their fault because their pillow was too tightly squeezed between their legs.
I don't believe
If that, you don't believe that? I love that you don't believe that. I love that you don't believe that. Don't believe that. Don't believe that. You guys mind if I take a copy of the latest literature? Is it okay? Because I used to study the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses.
Hey, Stuart. Good to see you again.
Yeah. Hi, what's your name? Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. And you are?
I'm Matt.
You're who?
Matthew.
Matthew. Oh, that's a great name. When your parents named you Matthew, did they know that they were naming you after one of the gospel writers?
Probably.
Were you raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yes, I was.
Were you? When did you get the truth?
Hey, Stuart. It looks like a camera you have over there.
Yeah, it is a camera.
Yeah.
When did you get the truth?
Not through my parents.
Not through your parents. Oh, I saw the tap. Yeah. Don't talk to him. Yeah. So you were raised a witness. I've noticed that the people who are still standing next to this cart, this ridiculous cart, still thinking that you're true Christians, shining as illuminators in Satan's dark world, trying to reach blinded unbelievers before they're all slaughtered at Armageddon. The people who are still doing this, even in the face of everything that's coming out about this organization, the child abuse cover-up, the suicides, the omitting, the twisting of Watchtower history, the leaked elders videos, the leaked Bethel videos, like everything that's out there for you to learn about this organization that you're refusing to learn because you're too busy feeling superior to people standing here. The people who are doing that, and I've been conducting like some honest research where like the answers that people are giving are on video. The people who are still doing it, 8 times out of 10, they got the truth as teenagers. You should do that. You should do that. But you're just wasting your time reading your Bible unless you read it with these guys. If you're not studying the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses, you're just wasting your time. Anyway, so like 8 times out of 10, when I asked them, they got the truth. You know, in other words, started studying the Bible with one of Jehovah's Witnesses as teenagers or their second generation witnesses. And the reason that's important is because the fear and the guilt and the paranoia and the superiority complex and the persecution complex and all the stuff that makes you cult members, you started getting exposed to that right when you were born, right when you were very young. Like I was 17, turning 18, so it kind of got through. My critical thinking hadn't really developed, so it kind of got through and got me for about 20-something years. In your case, you were raised, and then like I'm saying, 8 times out of 10, it happens that people who are still doing this ridiculous work and calling it a defense of their faith, like you actually think you're defending your faith standing here. You think that, right? You think that you're giving a defense? Somebody comes up and has questions, and you're like, you're welcome to go to jw.org, or you stand here mute or grinning like that. I'm talking about child abuse being covered up. She doesn't care. And that's another thing. Like when we talk to witnesses, it stands about child abuse being covered up because of Watchtower policy. It's that same look. It's that same shrug. You don't care about child rape being covered up because of organizational policy? Are you an elder? You're not an elder? Okay, so neither of you guys know about the secret manual that makes it possible, where they talk about when child sex abuse occurs, if there isn't a second witness, leave it in Jehovah's hands. Right? And in Australia, that has made it possible for at least over 1,000 alleged pedophiles to go unreported to the police. And Watchtower is being fined $4,000 a day for refusing to release information that could tell us about how bad it is in the United States. And I mention that to you, and you shrug and you laugh. It's funny. Child rape's funny, isn't it? It's funny. Is it funny? This whole world is funny. Yeah. Except you're not funny. You're a true Christian. You're laughing because you're nervous. It's okay to feel bad about children being raped. It's okay to admit you feel bad about it. Yeah. Do you feel bad about it? Would you like to see some disclosure on those issues? See, that's what I'm thinking about cult members. You don't want to answer the question I'm asking you. You don't want to talk about organizational policy that is like requiring that you be here, also making it possible for child abuse to happen. You want to redirect the conversation because you're so used to having conversations flatter you. Right? Somebody comes up, oh, you're doing such good work. I don't want to join your religion, but I just wanted to tell you you're doing such good work. That used to happen to me all the time. And then you feel good about that, and you'd say, oh, you go back to the hall, and they'd be like, did you get anybody? Any new recruits? Any new converts? And you'd say, no, but somebody did come up to us and tell us what wonderful work we're doing. See, so like you're not out here to really help anybody but yourselves feel superior to everybody walking past. And like everybody knows that. Nobody hates you because you're true Christians. You're kind of just pathetic and ridiculous for being out here representing this organization when there's like all this information about it. Like somebody's going to take this literature, they're going to go to jw.org, and then they're probably going to stumble across any number of other websites or Facebook groups or YouTube channels, and they're going to hear from ex-witnesses who are going to tell them things you're never going to be able to tell them because you're still here loyal. See, you're too busy being loyal to be honest about your research. Whereas people who are leaving we're loyal to the truth. We don't talk about having the truth and being in the truth, or when did you get the truth. We're too busy being honest about our search for it. And as long as you're standing here laughing at child abuse, trying to steer the conversation in another direction that flatters you, you're not going to be able to say that about yourselves. Like, you know you're dishonest. What did Jesus say about being dishonest about your search for truth? Oh, it's okay. As long as you get your hours in, as long as you make it to all your meetings, as long as you laugh and grin when somebody mentions child rape, that'll get you into my kingdom. Did he say anything like that? Yeah. On what basis?
We
were
want
the?
to have a positive conversation.
Oh, I want to have an honest conversation. Before we start talking about good and positive, I think you need to, I'm just suggesting it'd be a good idea to worry about having an honest conversation. On what basis were the Bible students chosen as God's organization in 1919?
You can find someone to talk with you.
I asked another brother that question at a stand, and he was cool enough with answering me. Would you like to know what he said? I asked that exact question to a brother over here at Barrage just a couple days ago. He was an elder. You're not an elder, so maybe you're not as confident. On what basis were the Bible students chosen as God's organization in 1919? Because they what?
I know you've learned a lot. You used to be one of.
There's another example of you not wanting to answer the question. You don't want to answer the question. Well, then answer it.
You already have all the answers.
I'm asking you.
You've asked so many people about these questions.
So many people.
And we can always give you the same.
What about copyright law? Has Watchtower violated copyright law? Do you know? What about misquoting sources? Has Watchtower deliberately misquoted sources? What about Garrett Loesch? You guys know who Garrett Loesch is, right? I know you want to have a positive conversation. I know you want to have a respectful conversation, but there is no religion higher than truth, right? So, tell me about Garrett Loesch. You guys know that Garrett Loesch was the longest-serving member of the governing body, and he was given the opportunity to defend Watchtower's policies on child sex abuse reporting in a court-ordered deposition. He was given the chance, just like you're being given the chance right now to defend your beliefs. Your governing body member, the longest-serving governing body member, was given the chance to defend Watchtower's policies in a court-ordered deposition. Do you know what he did? Have you ever heard the name Jose Lopez? Candace Conti, Stephanie Fessler? You guys don't know who I'm talking about. You guys know who Garrett Loesch is, though. Please tell me you guys know who Garrett Loesch is.
I know Jehovah. That's all I know.
Yeah, well, Garrett Loesch is one of the mediators between Jehovah and all of humankind who you follow, so it'd be kind of important to know what he did in a court-ordered deposition. Do you know what he did? You don't know what he did. He refused to appear. Yeah, he just chickened completely out. Instead, he submitted a written statement where he disavowed having any connection to Watchtower. He said, I am not an officer, I am not an agent of Watchtower, Watchtower has no authority over me. He just ran off. And I was thinking, wow, here is a man who is claiming to be one of 7 men who is mediating between the creator of heaven and earth and all of humankind, and he's been given an opportunity to defend his faith, to defend the policies that he sees are in place, and he's playing legal games. He hides, and then he submits a written statement disavowing having any connection to Watchtower. That's your leader. That's one of your leaders. Running and hiding. Yeah. Or Tony Morris talks about you guys aren't cult members because there's no chains on you. He makes a joke. People say Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult. Well, I don't see anybody with any chains on them here, do you? As if that's the only thing. There are many, many signs to a successfully indoctrinated cult member. Many, many signs. Are you a cult member? Or are you a true Christian? Or no, tell me what you are. If this entire city block were to stop and look at you, would you say, go to jw.org? Would you say, read your Bible? Would you say, pray to Jehovah? What would you say? No, seriously. What's more important, that people go to jw.org or that they read their Bible? Or what's your priority here? What's your goal here? What's your goal here?
Stuart, it's nice to see you.
Oh, that's amazing.
but
I just gave you such an opportunity.
Very
It's too bad that you won't answer.
not,
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. Have you ever studied the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses before?
No, I haven't.
Do yourself a big favor and start studying the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses. Because if you don't, you know what's going to happen if you don't?
No.
Ask them. Ask them. Come. What's going to happen to him if he doesn't start studying the Bible with you guys? Come on, tell him. Tell him what's going to happen if he doesn't start studying the Bible with you. You're going to look like a charred hot dog at Armageddon. Yeah. You're going to be bird food. You're going to be bird food. The birds are going to eat you, and they're going to step over your body like this. They're going to bury you, and then they're going to plant their tomatoes and their palm trees and build their beachfront property. Yeah. See, they're smiling and friendly.
Yeah.
And if you were to go to a meeting, they'd all come up to you and they'd be like, "Hi! Oh, sit next to me. Come here. Oh, do you have a ride? Let's give you a ride." And then they're gonna be sharing the offer of the month. Like this is the offer for the month, right? And then in 2 months there's gonna be another offer for the month.
Got it, yeah.
And then if you keep going, overnight they're gonna stop being offers per month. They're gonna become suddenly requirements for life.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be about becoming an unbaptized publisher, a baptized publisher, an auxiliary pioneer, a regular pioneer, a Bethelite, a Gilead graduate, a missionary, whatever. Like it never ends. Like you guys are both regular pioneers, right? Come on, you're both regular pioneers, right? You should be proud to tell me that you're both regular pioneers. They're probably both regular pioneers. So you see what I mean, right? Like they've ascended.
Yeah.
They've ascended in the cult to be worthy of standing here. But try asking them questions, and this is what you get. So join this cult today. Be like them. If you're lucky, in 10 years. If you're lucky, in 10 years. What's your name? Rickham.
Yeah.
My name's Stuart.
Nice.
Yeah. So get started.
Yeah.
Get started.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason I'm like this is because I used to be one of them.
No, I get it, point.
And I had so much kept from me.
Yeah.
It's not funny. And the way they talk about people who leave this organization, you should hear what they say.
Yeah.
And like they don't want to find out for sure. They're too busy just being flattered by their cult language, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but they're here all the time. And guess what? I'm here all the time too. So we'll see you guys soon.
You wouldn't even think that happened by itself, would you?
Sure, good.
You think a watch could just appear by itself? No. So you would think that there has to be a designer, a creator, right? So the same thing, we see all sorts of evidence around us to show that there is a creator.
I have a question about it.
Yeah.
We create
Hi,
watch.
Stuart.
We create watch to serve us, right? But why God created us? We cannot serve to God. God doesn't need our service.
That's a very good question, right? That's a very good
God
question.
doesn't need us. God doesn't need anything.
Exactly. So then why do you think He created us?
Yeah, that is a question. So why do you think He created?
He created us out of love.
Love.
He gave us love. So
Okay.
he gave us this beautiful earth of which humans have ruined it. He gave us all our senses to enjoy it.
Okay.
He put everything here for our benefit. So
Okay.
that must have been because of love. Because you.
I used to study the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses.
You come to our hall occasionally. I'm Bob Hyten's wife. Yeah. I was like, you look so familiar. It's
That's
like, oh yes,
hilarious.
because I saw you chatting with him once
That's
at one of our
right. I love
meetings.
Bob.
Yeah.
I always like Bob. Yeah.
He's a big sweetie.
Yeah.
he's
When did
a-
you get the truth, by the way?
When did I get the truth?
Yeah.
My mom was in the truth. My dad's not.
Okay. So your mum.
So we were taught it. I basically
In a divided household.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, but basically I chose it when I was about 18, and I started studying with a sister in the
But your first
congregation.
exposure came from your mother as
Yes,
a child.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. How about yourself?
Yeah, I was about 17 when I was first contacted. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a piece-
Any family members?
No family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, and the couple that studied with me
Yeah.
really went out of their way to come get me, take me to their home, bring me to school after the study. So that made quite an impression, you know.
Actually, you know what? I would say that sort of was the turning point for me too. Was a sister was like so amazing with me, just like because I was a really troubled teen.
Yeah, right.
And they honestly were. She was so amazing with me, just like.
But
so,
you're not troubled anymore.
Oh my gosh, no! It doesn't leave anyone. I don't think it.
What doesn't leave anyone?
I think trouble
The
from your
trouble? The
past.
trouble?
Well,
Trouble from
some
your
of
past?
Some of it. I mean, the thing is, I'm not nearly what I was when I was a teenager.
Right.
And I don't think Bob is either. But
Right.
but Bob comes from a really tough situation.
But
really.
you've improved hopefully enough
Yeah.
to survive Armageddon.
Oh, I don't even look at it that way.
How do you look at it?
You know what? I just kind of think that
If you were to take away the impending doom of Armageddon, you'd still be exactly who you are.
Yeah, because to me it's not. It shouldn't be driven by fear.
It shouldn't be driven by fear.
No.
It shouldn't be driven by fear
No.
of Armageddon,
No.
or disfellowshipping, or
No.
shunning, or not
No.
making your hours and getting taken off a list, and
No.
yeah.
No.
Shouldn't be driven by. I agree. It definitely
No,
shouldn't be
because
driven
the
by
thing
fear.
is, and I think regardless of whether you're a witness or not, like I have friends that I've known for a long time that are not witnesses,
Uh-huh.
and honestly, they're I think sometimes the thought of guilt, like, and I don't know why people hold on to that so much, even as witnesses, like why guilt is such a big thing. Like, I mean, I did stuff in my past, but I don't hold on to the guilt of those things from my past.
You're saying people who are your friends. You have friends who aren't witnesses?
Oh yeah.
How what makes them friends?
Just people I've known for a really long time. Yeah. And they know I'm a witness, and I'm happy to be a witness, and I'm happy that they kind of.
And you see them too holding on to guilt, and you just wish they'd let go.
Yeah. And so I think regardless of whether you're a Jehovah's Witness or not, I think guilt is kind of an ugly thing, and I think that it's more the aim, I believe, honestly, of Satan than it is of Jehovah.
Yeah.
Like, Jehovah's just so all-loving that I think it's like, even as humans, we're so imperfect. We have like those little fractions of his qualities, but we don't have a corner on love.
That's right.
Know?
You don't have a corner on love.
No, we can.
Well, you do have a corner on the truth.
Oh yeah, to some extent, yeah. Like, and even
to
like,
some extent.
Well, when I say that, I mean like.
That you have a corner on the truth to some extent.
As an imperfect human, I believe that absorbing information the way like a perfect human would absorb it, I don't think, like, I'm saying as far as like understanding the qualities of that come from the truth, like love and justice. And
right.
I think
honesty.
Yes, all of that. I think that
honesty in one's search for truth.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. How can your search for truth really continue when you talk about having the truth and being in the truth?
I think it's a learning process always, though,
right?
It's always
a learning process.
Like, it's never. I don't
think
you ever
I agree.
stop
I totally
learning.
agree. You never
like,
stop
I mean,
learning.
The thing is, too, I had like a woman approach me one day and just accuse me of being brainwashed.
Okay.
And the truth is,
that's a little indelicate of her.
And it's fine. I don't mind. I mean, people have all
Was she
kinds of
foaming at the
reasons.
mouth and raging and?
No, she wasn't. And
did you fear for your physical safety and want to call the police?
No, not at all.
Okay.
In fact,
she was
reasonable.
Okay.
And once we did end up talking.
She was reasonable. Okay.
Okay, so she made a statement. A very grandiose statement and
right.
very general.
Oh no.
And so I asked her, I said, well, what is the definition of that? Like, tell me.
Right. Help me understand what you mean by that, so I can be honest about looking at myself.
No, and
what'd she say?
She said, well, it's feeding your mind with something and allowing that to affect you. And I said, okay.
Was she an ex-witness? Did she know what she was talking about?
No.
So she didn't know what she was talking about.
So then I asked her, I said, so
you asked somebody to explain themselves who had no way of really explaining themselves because they'd never been a witness.
Yeah.
So of course she's not going to be able to answer your question. But you loved listening to her.
She did.
Well,
so no.
She tried.
So I said, so do you read the newspaper? Do you watch the news? Do you read books? I said, do you read, like, what kind of books do you read? And I said, so every time you feed your mind with another person's thoughts, you're washing your brain with those ideas.
Okay.
Right? So in reality, we all are.
Okay.
It's just what we choose to wash our brains with. And we get information from every side. So many sources.
You get information from every side as one of Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you watch the news? Do you read the newspapers?
Have you heard of a website called jwfacts.com? Have you heard of a website called jwsurvey.org?
No, but
have you heard of an organization called silentlambs.org?
No.
Okay. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. You're saying that you get information from all sources.
I'm asking you, do you
Please don't touch me. Don't touch me. Yeah. What were you going to ask me? No, I don't like to be touched.
Okay, do you read the newspaper?
Yes.
Do you watch the news?
Yes.
Okay.
All
And
kinds
you're-
of news.
Okay, good.
Uh-huh.
So you feed your
Oh, is that
mind.
good?
No.
Is that good?
Okay, is that condescending? Was that patronizing?
You're condescending to everybody walking by just standing here,
What's going on?
considering your beliefs. Considering what you believe about your system of religious belief and practice, you are condescending
Okay.
to every single person walking past.
No.
You are making...
What's your name?
And I've noticed that too. Like I'm trying to say something, and you couldn't care less about what I'm talking about. You just want to know my name, like you're some kind of.
Us of something.
Well, I haven't. Well, you don't know because I haven't been able to finish because you interrupted me.
I know who you are, and if you don't leave right now, I'm going to call the transit police.
Call the transit police. Call them right now. Yeah. So you're out here making literally the most flattering claim.
Bob.
I do. But that doesn't mean that I can't, be disgusted by his beliefs. Yeah, so you're out here making literally the most, like you're saying, does that sound condescending? And I'm telling you that just by standing here, you're being condescending. Considering what you believe,
Okay.
like you were raised a witness, so it's kind of hard to fault you, but...
No, I'm not.
Considering-
I was both. I was raised with my father's
Well, you were
beliefs
first,
and my
you
mother's
were first,
beliefs.
you were first exposed
No,
to
I wasn't.
the impending doom of Armageddon when you were very young.
No.
You weren't learning about Armageddon from your mother when you were studying with her?
No, I learned about my dad's beliefs too. I learned about both.
Well, you know that one of the first things you learn about when you're studying the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses is... what are you saying?
That we asked you to leave, but you haven't left.
You haven't asked me to leave.
Yes, we have.
No,
asked
you
to
haven't
leave.
asked me to
Can
leave.
you please
You
leave?
haven't asked me to leave.
Can you please leave?
You're a liar.
Can you
You're
please
both
leave?
liars.
Can
Now
you
you're
please
asking
leave?
me. Now you're asking me. No, I'm not going anywhere. Because you lied. You just finished telling him that you asked me to leave when you hadn't asked me to leave. You were too busy asking me my name.
Anyways, I grew up with both beliefs, my father's
I've noticed
and my
that.
mother's.
I've noticed that about you guys.
My
When the
father's
conversation
and my
doesn't
mother's
flatter
beliefs.
you, when you
That's
can't
not it.
control the conversation,
We
like
don't
she's trying to
wanna
control the
argue.
conversation
We don't
right
wanna
now.
argue.
Oh, I don't want to argue either. I'm trying to explain something to you.
But you're not
never
listening to me either, though.
Well, you haven't even let me explain to you why you're condescending.
What?
Do you remember that part where you said, "Oh, does that sound condescending?" And I was saying,
because of the way that you're treating us.
"Oh,
Like that.
oh,
That.
oh, is that
Can you
is
please
that
leave?
is that
Can
is that
you
wrong?"
please
I'm not
leave?
going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. So I was trying to explain to you that just by standing here, bearing in mind what you believe about yourselves and the way you view everybody else walking past.
I don't. That's a judgment you're assuming in my heart. And that's
Well,
not there.
unfortunately, it's what you're constantly having reinforced
No,
through
it's
your
not.
daily
And
worship,
I don't judge
through
people
your
that
meetings,
way. I don't.
through your... Well,
No.
you do, though.
No, I don't.
Just by standing here.
No, I don't. I'm not
Presuming
here
to be
judge.
able to show people what the
No.
Bible really teaches when your version of what the Bible really teaches changes.
I'm not here to argue with you.
Every, couple of years, there was the Bible students, then there was Jehovah's Witnesses, and
Look,
you were
there isn't a
pro-blood,
single
now you're
person
against
here
blood.
that I judge. I'm not here to judge people.
You're not here to judge people.
No, I'm not.
Well, unfortunately, just by having the beliefs that you do, it's
No,
implied.
relaying information is
Yeah.
not judging people. Sorry. I don't
Standing out
agree
here,
with you. Yes, that's
shining as an illuminator
Do you
in a
mind?
world of... Well, you just lied about me to the cops. Did you say that you asked me to leave?
It was the transit police.
Did you say that you asked me to leave
She
and I didn't
did.
leave? Yeah, you didn't ask me. You just asked me my name,
Do you-
and you said, now I'm going to call the cops. So if you said you asked me to leave when you hadn't, you lied. Please don't lie to the police about me. Yeah, I don't appreciate being lied to the police about me.
No,
Yeah,
he's been to our
so
call.
it's interesting.
Yeah, okay.
It's interesting. It's interesting that...
And he's bothering to call.
Yeah. So the idea of you needing to be flattered by conversations, like somebody comes up who doesn't know about your cult, they go, "Oh, I'd like to learn more about Jehovah's Witnesses," and you're like, "Oh, good, okay. When's a good time to study? Wherever you can, we'll come meet with you, or we can come pick you up and take you to our home, or if you want to come to a meeting, that'd be great." And then, of course, that first meeting they go to, you're going to be like, "Oh, hi. Oh, you can sit next to me, and how's it going, and how's your family and everything?" But as soon as they start to show a sort of little bit of reluctance to learn about what you're teaching, or they start doing some real research and talk to ex-witnesses?
My dad's not a witness.
Who
Honestly,
are
I have a very good relationship with
going
my
to
father.
be able to tell them about how you guys are covering up child abuse?
My father's
Who
not
are
a
gonna-
Jehovah's
who
Witness,
are gonna
and I
be
have
able
a
to-
very good relationship with my father.
Well, you're an exception, yeah, and unfortunately,
He has a good
unfortunately.
relationship with her family, and they're not Jehovah's Witnesses.
When did you get the truth, by the way?
I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You don't want to answer a simple, straightforward question like that.
There's
Yeah.
lots of people that are
So
not
people
witnesses
that come up to the
have-
stand who don't know anything about Jehovah's Witnesses, you're going to be like, oh, let me teach you, let me show you, let me go out of my way to love bomb you and be all friendly. And then, a month is going to pass, 2 months are going to pass, 3 months are going to pass. And then, like, the offer for the month or the topic of the watchtower, the discussion point, overnight, that is going to change from the offer for the month to a requirement for life. Then it's going to be about, becoming an unbaptized publisher. And then it's going to be about becoming a baptized publisher, which appears in the Bible where, by the way? And then it's going to be about auxiliary pioneering, if you can auxiliary pioneer, or at least auxiliary pioneer in the memorial month, or at least auxiliary pioneer in the month the circuit overseer is going to visit. And then it's going to be about regular pioneering, if you can put in the 840. And then it's going to be about going to the Kingdom School for Evangelizers, or Bethel, or Gilead. Like, it never ends, right? Like, you guys are on a hamster wheel of never, ever doing enough for Watchtower. Ever. And you're never going to explain that to a person because you're going to be too busy thinking you're saving them from Satan's wicked system. But unfortunately, God doesn't need Watchtower. Okay, Watchtower needs well-meaning, no offense, ignorant ladies like yourselves who don't want to be informed because you're too busy lying to the police about telling people to go away when they don't flatter you.
Either way,
And
I've
you're
asked you
too
to leave and you
busy.
haven't.
Or you're too busy just looking at all these people, feeling so sorry for them because they don't have the truth.
I don't feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for these people.
If only these people would stop and listen before they're consumed by Jehovah's wrath. As if somebody walking past here can't have more to offer their fellow man,
I don't
more to
believe it.
do in their life to glorify God than you ever could as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. That's the thing, like the people who are leaving this organization, like I'm learning about a lot of them, the number one identifying feature, we're kind of like a disorganized bunch, but we definitely don't use the expression having the truth, being in the truth. But we're definitely honest about our search for it.
Okay.
And in the process of being like 10 times more honest about our search for the truth than you guys are, lying to the police, which is even if you weren't lying, like what did Jesus or one of the first century Christians ever say that made it acceptable for a Christian in our time to call Caesar? And this is so good. Oh, you're so happy now. Look. Yeah. See, that's good. I know what you're doing. Keep doing that. See, you think you're making me look ridiculous right now, but you're actually making yourselves look really ridiculous. How many Jehovah's Witnesses kill themselves every year after being abused by one of Jehovah's Witnesses and have that abuse treated as though it never happened? Because there wasn't a second witness or because their abuser didn't confess? How many Jehovah's Witnesses kill themselves every year after being shunned by their own flesh and blood and they can't cope and they kill themselves?
I know.
And of course, how many Jehovah's Witnesses martyr themselves in a hospital bed by refusing blood? Conservatively, at least 150 a year in the United States alone. That's a conservative estimate. So you're giggling and having your little conversation that means nothing while I'm talking about Watchtower organizational policy making it possible for people to die unnecessarily and to kill themselves because of those policies. You're talking about the meeting or the party you're going to go to, the service group that you had, or the part that your husband's elders are going to give, or your plans to go to Bethel or Wallkill and hopefully walk where Toni Morris walked. That's more important to you than asking me where I'm coming from or answering the question about why Jehovah's Witnesses are killing themselves in the numbers that they are. It's amazing. Yeah, maybe I'll ask Holly.
But God doesn't need it, right?
He doesn't, but it makes
God
him
is
happy.
perfect.
Like, I don't need to give a gift, but it makes me happy. Right?
But some people do wrong things, it makes God sad, right?
Yes, and for those ones, they will be removed.
For God, even before humans, God exists maybe billions years, right? Or 6 billion years.
Right.
So God was missing, like he was sad, or it's bad life for him, let's create human and enjoy it. Yes? I don't think it's not logical for me. Yeah.
Well,
God doesn't need enjoyment. God doesn't need.
why not? We're made in His image.
God is perfect.
Relax. Don't get upset.
We're made in His image.
They'll get upset. Watch.
And we're made
Or they'll
in
lie
His
about you to
image.
the police. Careful. Yeah.
We're made in His image.
Yeah.
And so we have that capacity to enjoy getting good things and doing good things.
We sure do.
No, we are humans.
Not as much as you.
We need
Not as much as
something.
you. Yeah.
We need something, right? But God doesn't need anything.
He
God is
doesn't.
perfect.
But that's the whole point of it. Is He doesn't need anything.
See, you don't tell her what the point is. She tells you what the point is.
It's
Notice that, right?
self-contained. He didn't need any